Hello and welcome to a special edition of the Jeff Walker Books channel. Today I'm going to be discussing something other than my books. I'm going to talk about Star Wars' latest novelization of the High Republic. I was never a fan of this from the get go. This is Disney's version of their own Old Republic, which I thought was kind of a little bit stupid, I thought. Because that is the Old Republic. The High Republic and the Old Republic, there was never a High Republic. So I don't know what they're talking about. If anything, it sounds more like fan fiction. Which, if you go to fan fiction, there's a ton of stuff like this. Now, the only reason why they want it is because it's shoving in all these characters that make absolutely no sense. I mean, I allowed myself to read the first book, and I was absolutely just disgusted with this book. Not so much for the characters or what they stood for or what they were trying to represent, more of the lame tone they were trying to put into this whole story arc. It was about some major disaster that happened during a hyperspace. And the book itself, when I read it, it took forever for the ship to like crash on these multiple worlds. And I'm sitting there like, if it's coming out of hyperspace at full steam, it should happen immediately. But they had time to like gather forces, time to sit there and think about certain things. And it's like, okay, if there was an accident, you wouldn't have time to sit there and do something, like think. You would have to like get on it, and they're like trying to evacuate planets, and I'm like going, okay, this is happening in an instant, and you've got time for all this? I don't think so. I guess it's a way to get their story arcs going, but even that, I mean, there were so many characters, I couldn't keep track of any of their names. I didn't care for most of them anyway. I know they're trying to push some sort of PC agenda, but it sounds so forced and like, pardon the expression. You've got they're trying to hint or being very open about certain characters, and I mean that's fine. But I mean at the same time, we all know what you're doing. I couldn't stand some of the characters that were being in this book. I can't even remember the names, and I don't want to because I have no interest in them. Now there's like more books coming, and it's like, well, I don't want to read any more of this crap. And it's just like when I read the book, I was just like, what is this? Like, where does this fall in the greater scheme of the Star Wars universe? I know they don't acknowledge Legends, that they've like taken that old expanded universe and pushed it aside. But at the same time, they're kind of taking bits and pieces out of it. Even out of the Bioware Old Republic games, they seem to be borrowing some little bits here and there. But I mean, I don't enjoy these books. I don't enjoy the characters. There's a guy with a dog for some reason, and I'm like, when Jedi aren't supposed to have these things. Even in the Old Republic games, they never had any of this stuff. So it makes me wonder, like, who is actually writing this book? It's not Star Wars fans, let me tell you that. They know a bit about the Force, and they're starting to like go into like weird places with it. I honestly think that this is terrible, terrible for the Star Wars universe. This is almost as bad as Doctor Who. I mean, they've destroyed the backstory of Doctor Who to suit the producers' needs, and I don't know what agendas needs for some other people. But I mean, you build this universe up and then you tear it down with this utter nonsense, and it's just like there's a reason why the fans loved this stuff in the first place. If you're going to cater to one side only, it's not going to work. And they're sitting there like, well, it's inclusion and it's diversity. And I said, I'm pretty sure diversity was coming all the way anyway. I understand that it was mostly non diverse at the beginning, but then you have to think about the time we lived in when this stuff started coming out. And slowly it's been trickling in. And, I guess some people didn't feel it was enough. But I sat there and went, you can do this without looking like a bunch of assholes shoving this in. So I'm just so not in love with these High Republic books. I'm not in love with that Doctor Who series. I stopped watching it after Mid Carpali, 12th generation. He was okay, but he wasn't great in my opinion, and the stories were starting to suffer because it wasn't that interesting. So I lost part way of Capaldi, and then when Jodie Whittaker took over, I really lost interest because it's not about that she was a woman. I didn't care about that. I mean, fine, you want to have a woman, that's fine, but at the same time, you have to make her interesting, and she wasn't interesting at all. And her regeneration process was just like what? And I was, and I, and then they kind of destroyed her whole character by saying that she was just this child that appeared out of nowhere. And you sit there and you go, but that destroyed all the backstory of, they've been building up that he was half human, that he had like his mother coming you know, during the Great War, to punish him and stuff like, it was just bizarre stuff that they kept throwing in, and I think slowly they've been destroying these universes, and I think it's a way to like stop the fans from loving this stuff. I don't understand quite really. So yeah, even Star Trek. What's going on? Like, I don't understand why everybody's trying to destroy franchises. Do they hate it? I mean, are you trying to be like, oh, this is ours now? Like, I don't understand. Like, you could have spun this off in different places and made it your own for some reason, but you've got to like intrude into other franchises. It doesn't make sense to me to start flipping characters into like these other modes. Uh, Star Wars at least hasn't been too damaged by it. The Mandalorian's kind of been a good example of that. I mean, that was good writing. That was good characterization. The Cara Dune character was a great improvement. I thought that was a great role model to shove in there for girls and stuff. I mean, I like the character. I like Cara Dune. I think she's going to be great if she has her own show coming. That'd be great. But I mean, as far as the High Republic, I did not enjoy these books. I read the one, and I'm not reading it. I'm not reading anymore because it's the one or nothing. Basically, when I see all the stuff that they're putting out, I'm not interested. I don't care about these villains. These villains are like the villain of the day kind of story. Like they look like I don't know. They're trying to be like Junkions from Transformers. I don't get it. And then they're supposed to be like, oh, rival to the Jedi, and it's like, no, they're not even in the same class as the Jedi. And so it makes you wonder, like, how did they come up with this? Like, it's beyond me. And the writers that they chose are not Star Wars fans at all. They say that they are, but I'm wondering if they like just certain aspects of it and not steeped in it at all. I mean, the writing in the first book was so boring. It took 15 chapters to get to the damn point. And it was just, I'm like, if you can't convey that within the first couple of chapters, forget it. You're lost, everybody. I mean, I'm a writer. I know. I mean, I'm sure I've written books where people haven't enjoyed some parts, but I mean, at the same time, it's like, I wouldn't be so laxed in the action part in a Star Wars novel. I mean, you're trying to build characters, but you build them along the way. I mean, I don't know what else to say about this book. Um, it's just the light of the force. I don't know. Um, I really hope that this book dies a swift death because it's just the worst thing to come out of the Star Wars whole franchise. I mean, I thought some of the other books were pretty bad, and some of them are. I mean, I've read some of the books that Star Wars produces, and some of them are okay, and some of them are just like, oh, God, I'm so bored because they choose these writers that have absolutely no idea on how to get the characters going, or they just focus too much on the characters and not enough the story. It's kind of weird how they've developed some of these books. I don't know what to think. It's bizarre to me. They keep talking about maybe they'll retro the sequels, which I don't think they'll do. I don't think they will. I don't think they'll try to write off these sequels. Um, John Favreau, everybody's hoping that he'll somehow resurrect and start a brand new bunch of sequels that will not disavow the other sequels. I don't think so. I don't think he's in that position, to be honest. And I think it'll probably they'll try to work it, incorporate it somehow, some way. Is going to like try to link it all together. But what he could be doing, actually, is kind of rewriting a little bit of history by changing it up slightly. So he might send it off into another direction, which might lead to another different sequel down the way. I'm not saying that he's going to like they're going to just destroy the other sequel. I think he's just going to like somehow send it in another path and maybe step beyond that sequel and go into another sequel beyond that, or it may go back to like the origin sequels. God, I hope they do not make this into a movie series. This whole High Republic, because I was absolutely just disenchanted by this whole book. Um, I'm not interested in the characters. I don't care about any of them. I don't even remember their names. I don't have the book with me because I returned it. I just I didn't care for it, and I'm looking online and seeing some of the characters and what they're they wanted to give make Yoda like a side character almost. I don't understand these people. Like I don't understand why you would hire writers to just push aside something that is precious to fans. They're doing this to please a certain group minority, and I understand that they're becoming a majority now. I guess, but at the same time, I said there's ways of doing it without shoving one person aside for another, and that's what it feels like to me. It's like some of these franchises and books and stuff are doing the shoving of to one person off to the side. Well, you had your time. Get out of the way. It's our time. It should never be like that. It should never be just like it should be for everybody. And that's I think the biggest gripe with me for some of these things that happen is that one person stands up and starts screaming and then they go okay, okay, but really all the voices should be heard, but at the same time do it in a way that it's respectful for all the people and not just one group, because then you start to go into a direction that I feel is counterproductive. And, yes, women need to have more inclusion, and usually they are. I mean, look, you got Aliens Ripley, you got tons of role models out there for women. So I don't know why the feminists feel that this is taking away from them. It's you want to make a male character into a female character. That doesn't make sense to me. Start a new character, create your own legendary character. Why would you want to turn a main character into something else? It doesn't make sense. That'd be like if you turned Batman, the character of Batman, Bruce Wayne, into like a woman. That makes just disrespects the whole franchise. Like, why would you do that? like you've got other characters. You've got the Batwoman now, apparently, which is great. They got their own Batwoman. Great. Leave Bruce Wayne and Batman alone. I just don't understand why everybody has to grab the character that everybody loves and then flip them around because they feel it, it's now kind of, it's in the now kind of like thing. And it's like, they've been around for a long, long time. Don't change it. If it ain't broke, don't change it. That's the rule. So I'm getting tired of all this PCness, and I get it. People want to have identity, have like their own, stories heard, kind of like thing through the characters, and I think I think they just need to find some way to do it without sounding so, I don't know, annoying. It is annoying. It's like people screaming in front of your face, and it's like, stop it. Like, just build your own character, if that's the way you want it. And now the Marvel and DC comic books are starting to turn in this way, and it's just destroying them. Just destroying them. I don't understand how anybody could do this. But anyway, yeah, so that's my opinion on the High Republic, which I wanted to talk about. It's my opinion alone. If you share my opinion, leave a comment. If you want to like rant on me for any reason because I don't agree with you, I don't understand. Um, just no hate. It's just I voice my opinion, and you will voice your opinion. But at the end of the day, we just have to make sure that we don't make this into something else that it's not. I'm not entirely sure if this whole High Republic thing will continue. It sounds to me like a lot of people don't like this, and yet the books are doing well. Kind of weird on that. Because I don't hear a whole lot of people talking about this book. I don't hear anything about this book other than what's on Twitter and people like boosting it through the Star Wars website. Which, if that's the case, then that's their own PR department pushing that stuff, and that's who it is. Really, it's the PR department trying to like get people to buy these books. They couldn't get people to buy the sequel toys, oddly enough, because they weren't that great and they weren't that many. I hardly ever see like there was a lot of like sequel toys on clearance shelves, and I'm like going, well, if they're not willing to spend the hard-earned cash right away like they did with the other Star Wars franchise, then I guess it's not that great. And I'm not going to go into the sequels. I have my own opinion about that either, but I'll talk about that another time, I suppose. But for now, I just want to talk about the book and how I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I thought the characters were boring. I thought the plot was dribble. To be honest, I was bored by the book. And I read a lot of books, mostly on Audible since I'm driving from work. But I mean, it's just like the characters are so bad. Just like the dialogue, the drippiness of it's just fluff. And I call it fluff. Whatever they like stretch out characterizations or they're thinking in the moment, I say that's fluff. That's just they've shoved in something to make the book expand into pages. Suddenly they have a thought in mid battle, and then they've got to like do a back memory of it, and then they're in the middle of the battle. Don't have a thought in the middle of battle. That's like the worst thing you could do. You're killing the story. You're killing the action. And to sit there and go, well, that happened a long time ago, and I remember when, and it's like, no, don't do that. That's horrible. There's a reason why the books are supposed to be action books. If this was if this was just a drama book, or That's what it would have been like. But this is an action book, and you don't sit there and you don't try to explain things in the middle of the action. So I think I've talked about this long enough. My opinion is, don't buy this book. Don't buy anything of the High Republic. I hated it. I hated it. And if you're a Star Wars fan of, you know, of the Old Republic and of the expanded universe and you like the originals, you won't like this. You won't like this at all. I'm going to tell you right now. The characters are awful, non memorable. So my opinion is, just keep reading the other stuff that you've had before, and just wait this out because I don't want to see this High Republic any more expanding than it is. I'm just going to keep watching The Mandalorian. There you go. And that's all my opinion on that. Take care.